Magandang hapon, patuloy ang ating pagtutok sa pagdating sa bansa ng Sinovac COVID-19 vaccines mula China. I-offload o ididiskarga na ang 600,000 doses ng Coronavac mula sa Chinese military aircraft matapos itong dumating sa Villamor Air Base kaninang pasado alas 4 ng hapon. Personal yang sinasaksihan ni Pangulong Duterte at dadalo siya sa turnover ceremony mamaya. Naroon din ang ilang mga opisyal ng gabinete at si Chinese Ambassador to the Philippines, Wang Xiyan. Mula sa Villamor Air Base, dadalhin ang mga bakuna sa Metropack Storage Facility sa Marikina. Inaasahang mahigpit ang security sa convoy. Sa Marikina, babantayan at isesegregate ang mga bakuna para maipamahagi sa pagsisimula ng vaccination. Sabi ni Presidential Spokesman Harry Roque, 25 million doses ng Coronavac ang inaasahan para sa Pilipinas. At mula Marso hanggang Hunyo, tig 1 million doses ang darating sa bansa. Bukas, unang araw ng Marso, inaasahan ang unang pagtuturok sa bansa ng mga bakuna ng Sinovac. Mauunang padadalhan ng mga bakuna ang mga pangunahing COVID hospitals gaya ng Philippine General Hospital, Lung Center of the Philippines, Dr. Jose N. Rodriguez Memorial Hospital and Sanitarium o TALA Hospital, Veterans Memorial Medical Center at V. Luna Hospital. Sa Martes naman, inaasahang dadalhin ang mga bakuna ng Sinovac sa ilang LGU hospital sa Metro Manila. Sa Miyerkules, inaasahan ang vaccination sa Vicente Soto Memorial Medical Center sa Cebu City. At sa Biyernes naman sa Southern Philippines Medical Center sa Davao City. At mga kapuso, napapanood nyo nga po ang live na kuha mula sa Villamor Air Base kung saan mismong si Pangulong Duterte ang nangunguna doon nga sa pagtanggap ng 600,000 Sinovac vaccines na donasyon mula China. Bukas po inaasahan na yung pagsisimula nga ng ating pagtuturo. Kasama ni President Duterte, si Chinese Ambassador to the Philippines, Wang Xiyan. Nandiyan din yung iba pang mga miyembro ng gabinete. At maya-maya lamang ay i-offload na o ididiskarga at lalagay doon sa mga transport vehicles ang mga bakuna para dalhin naman doon sa storage facility sa Marikina. Mamaya po magkakaroon tayo ng turnover ceremony na sasaksihan mismo ni Pangulong Duterte at ng Chinese Ambassador. At pagkatapos po noon ay magkakaroon ng press conference ang ating Pangulo. Tuloy-tuloy lang po yung pagdating nga po ng mga bakuna. Unang batch pa lang po ito at inaasahan sa mga susunod na buwan ay darating pa po yung nalalabi doon sa 25 million na mga bakuna. Patuloy pong tumutok dito sa GTV para sa ating pagtutok sa pagdating nga po ng mga bakuna. At nandiyan pa rin po sa Villamor Air Base ang ating Pangulo at iba po pong mga opisyal ng ating gobyerno para nga po doon sa pagdating ng mga bakuna. At inaasahan din nga po na mamaya ay magkakaroon ng press conference. Ang Coronavac, ang COVID-19 vaccine na dinevelop ng Sinovac ng China, inactivated o patay na SARS-CoV-2 o virus na nagdudulot ng COVID-19 ang gamit sa bakuna. 2 dose o turok ito at pwedeng i-imbak sa temperaturang 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. Naglalaro sa 50.38% to 91% ang efficacy rate ng bakuna ng Sinovac batay sa mga clinical trials sa Brazil, Indonesia at Turkey. Ginagamit na ang bakuna sa China, Hong Kong, Brazil, Indonesia, Turkey, Chile at Colombia. Personal pa nga naturukan nito ang mga leader ng Indonesia, Turkey, Hong Kong at Chile. May emergency use authorization na rin ito sa di bababa sa 6 pang bansa, kasama na ang Pilipinas. Sa 600,000 doses na dineliver sa Pilipinas, 100,000 ay para sa mga sundalo at ang iba ay sa mga frontliner. Pero may mga healthcare worker na nag-aalangan sa pagpapabakuna ng Sinovac, lalo't unang sinabi ng Food and Drug Administration na hindi ito rekomendado sa mga healthcare worker. Git naman ng Malacanang, pwedeng tumangging magpaturok ng Coronavac ang mga health worker. May hiwalay na application para sa clinical trial ang Sinovac dito sa Pilipinas, pero hindi pa yan nasisimulan. Balikan natin si Ian Cruz. Ian, anong latest dyan sa Villamor Air Base?
Yes, Sa Lima, sa ngayon ay nakikita na natin itong pagdidiskarga itong vaccine crate at may mga team dito na magdi-disinfect dito sa bawat mga crates na ibababa ay pagkakasabi sa atin ng ating mga sources ay kailangan i-disinfect para matiyak syempre na libre ito sa anumang virus o bakterya. At si Pangulong Duterte ay narito na rin at kanina nga ay lumapit pa siya dito sa Y20 transporter na siya naglululan nga nitong 600,000 na mga bakuna mula sa Sinovac ng China. At ito sa Lima nakikita natin dinidisinfect itong vaccine crate. At bawat vaccine crate daw na bababa ay talagang titiyakin na madidisinfect para nga matiyak na nasa maayos din itong kondisyon kapag ito ay nadala na doon sa paglalagakan ito na isang cold chain facility. At narito na rin yung truck na magdadala dito sa mga vaccine crates na ito. Mabilis lamang yung gagawin nila dito na pagdidiskarga para nga mabilis din itong maihatid doon sa mga sa cold chain facility. At dahil sa Lima patapos madala doon ay iaayos ito at dadali naman sa mga designated hospitals na siyang mag-administer ng pagbabakuna sa kanilang mga health workers. At mamaya sa Lima pagkatapos itong pagdidiskarga itong mga bakuna ay inaasahang magkakaroon ng maiksing programa dito sa Villamor Air Base kung saan inaasahang magsasalita ang kinatawan ng ating pamahalaan. Gayon din ang ambassador ng China dito sa Pilipinas na si Huang Xilian. So yan muna ang latest mula rito sa Villamor Air Base. Balik sa iyo, Sarina.
Iyan, I understand na paaga yung pagdating nitong mga bakuna. Dapat alas 5 pa yan ng hapon, nauna siya mga alas 4. Magsisimula na ba agad itong turnover ceremony? At sino-sino yung mga opisyal na present dyan ngayon?
Well, sa Lima, napaaga talaga, dapat alas 5, pero ang sabi sa atin ng ating mga sources ay mas maaga nakaalis doon sa pinanggalingan nitong airbase doon sa China, itong Xi'an Y20 transporter, kaya naman mas maaga nga itong nakarating eksakto 4:06 ng hapon kanina. At sa ngayon sa Lima, nakita natin, kinakarga na mismo dito sa malaking truck itong mga bakunang ito at dadalhin na ito, pag napuno na, dadalhin na ito doon sa cold chain facility. At magkakaroon lamang dito ng mixing programa ang dito sa Villamor Air Base. At from here, syempre, mas mahalaga sa Lima yung madala na kagad itong mga bakunang ito sa mga designated hospital kapag naiproseso na doon sa pasilidad na unang pagdadalhan ito na narito rin sa Metro Manila sa Lima.
Iyan, ito bang seremonya, meron pang magiging inspeksyon yung Pangulo o dire-diretso na ito na aalis na lang yung mga bakuna at dadalhin na sa storage facility?
Kanina sa Lima, nung dumating ang Pangulo, ay lumapit lamang siya dito sa may pinaka rear end nitong Y20 transporter at kasama nga niya yung ambassador ng China, si Secretary Galvez, si Secretary Duque at si Senator Bongo at tiningnan lamang nila itong mga vaccine crates and then nagpusid na sila doon sa area kung saan nga nandoon ang mga VIP. At ngayon naman ay patuloy itong ginagawang pagdidiskarga dito sa Y20 transporter at matapos maibaba dito sa cargo plane ng China itong mga vaccine crates ay dinidisinfect ito at agad din namang ginagamitan ng forklift para naman mailipat na doon naman patungo sa naghihintay na truck. At ang understanding natin sa Lima, kapag napuno na itong truck na ito, agad din naman ito magpo-proceed doon sa designated na cold chain facility niya para na mabilis na maiproseso itong ating mga bagong dating na mga bakuna sa Lima.
Natin si Pangulong Duterte, hawak-hawak na nga yung isang vial ng bakuna. Nakita niya yan personal, hinawakan niya sa kanyang kamay, in-inspeksyon niya ito at pinakita
May we
sa
enjoin
kanyang mga katabi.
everyone to take their seats. Please be informed that offloading of the vaccines shall continue while the program is ongoing. A pleasant afternoon to all. Our event today is to join the President in witnessing the arrival of the Sinovac vaccines in the country. May we call on Secretary of Health Dr. Francisco T. Duque III the chairperson of the Interagency Task Force Emerging Infectious Disease, to give his welcome remarks.
Thank you very much. To His Excellency, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, His Excellency Ambassador Huang Xilian, Senator Christopher Lawrence T. Go, Executive Secretary Salvador C. Medialdea, Secretaries, Generals, and Lieutenant Generals, other colleagues from the Philippine government and the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, good afternoon. On behalf of the Interagency Task Force of IATF of the Philippines, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to this occasion. Allow me to extend our gratitude for the consistent support that the government of China has provided to the Philippines through this pandemic, from the deployment of the Chinese medical expert team in April last year, to donations of PPEs, test kits, and other equipment needed in our COVID-19 response and in our common battle to curb the pandemic and to improve regional health security. In the same spirit today, we are gathered here to receive the generous donation of 600,000 vaccines from the People's Republic of China. And this comes at much needed time as the Philippines is preparing to face the Herculean task of mounting the largest ever immunization program in terms of scale in our history. We deeply appreciate this benevolent gesture from the government of China. While these are challenging times, we express optimism that the Philippines and the People's Republic of China can work together towards a harmonious, sustainable, and healthy future. Truly, no one is safe until everyone is safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary Duque. At this point, may we call on His Excellency Ambassador Huang Xilian of the People's Republic of China to the Philippines to give his remarks.
Your Excellency Rodrigo Roa Duterte, President of the Republic of the Philippines, Honorable Executive Secretary, Secretaries of the Cabinet, Honorable Senator Bongo, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to join all of you today here to witness the turnover of the 600,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines donated by Chinese government and military to the Philippine government and armed forces. At the outset, I would like to express my sincere thanks to President for gracing this ceremony. My special thanks also go to the teams about both sides who have been working round the clock to make this happen. Sinovac vaccines have been inoculated in many countries, and its safety and efficacy has been well tested. I hope that the vaccines will help kick off the Philippines mass inoculation campaign to curb the pandemic and allow Filipinos to return to normal life at the earliest. As the pandemic is still raging the world, vaccine is a sharp weapon to win this battle. Chinese President Xi Jinping pledged to make Chinese vaccines a global public good. China, as always, is honoring its commitment. China has rendered vaccine assistance to 53 countries and is exporting vaccine to 27 countries. This has demonstrated China's determination to fight the pandemic in the spirit of solidarity and to build a community with their shared future for the mankind. A friend in need is a friend indeed. It is a fine tradition between China and the Philippines to help each other in trying times. Despite the increasing domestic need of vaccines, China has decided to donate vaccines to the Philippines, and more Chinese vaccines procured by the Philippine government will come soon as expected. This not only shows the solidarity and friendship between our two countries and two peoples, but also signifies the intent of both militaries in fighting against COVID-19 and deepening our defense cooperation. No winter lasts forever. Every spring is sure to follow. As the Chinese saying goes, good neighbors are well wishers for each other. China was among the first to contain the virus and restore economic growth. We sincerely hope that the Philippines could control the pandemic to embrace economic recovery and normal life at the early stage. China will continue to do its utmost to support the Philippines until it secures the final victory. Thank you, President. Thank you, all colleagues and gentlemen. Mabuhay. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency Ambassador Huang Xilian. May we now call on Secretary Carlito G. Galvez Jr., the Chief Implementer of the National Task Force Against COVID-19, for his remarks and to introduce our guest of honor.
To our President, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Sir, His Excellency Wang Xilian, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, Senator Christopher Lawrence Pigo, my fellow cabinet members, Executive Secretary Mel Aldea, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. We would like to extend our deepest gratitude to the government of the People's Republic of China for its donation of 600,000 doses of Sinovac vaccines, which we received today. The Philippine government highly appreciates the swift shipment of the vaccines despite China's limited supply and the logistical challenges that had to be addressed. The delivery of these vaccines is another testament of the strong bilateral relationship between the Philippines and China. Our countries have been longtime allies, and we are pleased that this partnership remains as strong as ever as we fight this global pandemic. We will always be grateful to the government and people of China for coming to our country's aid during this difficult time. Mr. Ambassador, my special thank you to you, sir, for living up with your promise. With the arrival of these vaccines, the Philippines will officially begin its vaccine rollout. The actual rollout program will start on Monday at PGH and other hospitals. As we ramp up our preparations for the vaccine rollout, we call on our countrymen to take part in this massive and historic immunization program. As our President had said, no one is safe until everyone is safe. With the added layer of protection provided by the vaccines, we expect a significant decrease in active COVID-19 cases, leading to less stringent community quarantine restrictions, increased economic activity, and a greater sense of normalcy in the lives of our people. Again, to the People's Republic of China, represented here by Ambassador Wang Xilian, our deepest appreciation. Xie xie. Now it's my distinct honor to introduce our President, Mayor Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea, kindly sit down. I'm sorry. Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr., the People's Republic of China Ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency Wang Xilian, National Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, Health Secretary Francisco Duque, Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles, Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugadi, and the other members of the Cabinet, the National Task Force Chief Implementer and Vaccine Czar, Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., National Task Force Deputy Chief Implementer, Secretary Vicencio Dizon, Senate Committee on Health and Demography, Chairman Senator Bongo, AFP Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Serlito Subihana, and the other members of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, PNP Chief Police General Dibol Sinas, and the other members of the Philippine National Police, Philippine Commanding General Lieutenant General Jose Faustino, Philippine Air Force General Lieutenant General Allen Paredes, Philippine Navy Flag Officer in Command Admiral Giovanni Carlo Bacordo, Philippine Marine Corps Commandant General Ariel Kakulitan, PCG Commandant General George Orsabio Jr., mga kasama ko sa gobyerno, mga kababayan. My fellow Filipinos, we welcome this day with high hopes of finally ending the COVID-19 pandemic in our country. Today, we make another step towards an ongoing fight against COVID-19 as we receive 600,000 CoronaVac doses from the People's Republic of China. I convey my sincere gratitude to the Chinese people and the government of China for this gesture of friendship and solidarity, the hallmark of Philippine-China partnership. I also thank Secretary Galvez and Team Pilipinas for working very, very hard. And I would like to personally thank Ambassador Wang Xilian for helping ensure the timely delivery of this donation. I said it before and I will say it again. COVID-19 vaccines should be treated as a global public good and made available to all, rich and poor alike. No nation, no people should be left to suffer the ravages of this pandemic for whatever reason. Comprehensive global recovery hinges on the equal and easy access by everyone to life-saving vaccines, because at the end of the day, as repeatedly said, no one is safe until everyone is safe. Countries must therefore continue working together and do everything humanly possible to ensure a good outcome of every person. With this very important shipment, I am confident that more batches of vaccines will be available with great dispatch until every Filipino will be given the chance to be vaccinated at the earliest possible opportunity. I wish to assure the public that your government remains committed to a timely rollout that will enable us to confidently reopen our society. The delivery of this first batch, I hope, will serve as a guarantee to everyone that we are taking a big step in our efforts to overcome this health crisis. The delivery of this first batch, I hope, will serve as a guarantee to everyone that we are taking a big step in our efforts to overcome this health crisis. As we prepare for the distribution of these vaccines, I am directing all concerned agencies to institutionalize the whole of government approach in its rollout. I cannot stress enough, we cannot afford to waste time or resources in the distribution of these vaccines because we are dealing with precious lives. To our dear medical frontliners, allow me to take this opportunity to thank you for your valuable and selfless contribution to the fight against COVID-19. We recognize the profound sacrifices you continue to make every single day, even at the cost of being away from your loved ones and risking your precious lives just so to take care of the sick. As I have mentioned before, I assure you that the government will always be by your side, ready to help in any way we can. To my fellow Filipinos, please set your fears aside. These vaccines are backed by science and deliberated on by our expert, Filipino experts. I encourage you to get vaccinated at the soonest possible time and be a partner in preventing the further spread of the disease. To those who will be vaccinated, I also urge you to continue practicing health and safety protocols as we await for the final approval of all and more vaccines. Remember to wear masks, wash hands, and observe social distancing. Your cooperation here is key and will be undoubtedly saves numerous lives along. With entire nation's support, I am confident that we will claim victory over this pandemic. Panahon ngayon para magbayanihan. Let us demonstrate unity in our shared task of nation building and healthier society of every Filipino. Before I end, I would like to just add that China has donated several vaccines to several countries, but it is only the donation made to the Philippines that was carried by a Chinese government plane. Yung iba kinukuha doon sa China, dito hinatid sa atin. Maraming salamat po. Mr. Ambassador, I'd like to just say that towards maybe at the end of the year, when everything has settled down, I intend to make a short visit to China to just shake hands with President Xi Jinping and to personally thank him for this donation. Thank you. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our program. Thank you very much, Mr. President. We are very honored to have you lead us in witnessing the arrival of the anti-COVID-19 vaccines, Sinovac, in our country. Again, ladies and gentlemen, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Ang mga kapuso, ang inyo pong nasaksihan na official na turnover ceremony ng mga bakuna ng Sinovac ng China. Personal na tinanggap ni Pangulong Duterte ang 600,000 Coronavac vaccines na donasyon mula sa China. Ayon kay Chinese Ambassador to the Philippines, Wang Xilian, tanda ang donasyon ng matibay na pagsasama ng China at Pilipinas. Bahagi daw ito ng commitment ng China para gawing abot kamay ng buong mundo ang mga bakuna. Tulong raw ito ng China para malabanan ang pandemya. Dagdag pa ni Xilian, subok at dumaan raw sa matinding pagsusuri ang Sinovac vaccine, kaya epektibo raw ito. O asahan raw ng Pilipinas na magiging katuwang ng bansa ang China para manumbalik ang normal na pamumuhay sa kabila ng pandemya. Nagpasalamat naman si Pangulong Duterte sa donasyong ito ng China. Tinawag niya itong gesture of solidarity ng Pilipinas at China. Dahil daw rito, masisimula na ang vaccine rollout bukas. Ang bakuna ay dapat global public good na dapat abot kamay sa lahat ng bansa. Wala daw dapat bansang maiiwan sa laban kontra COVID-19. Dapat daw gawin ng bansa ang lahat para mabigyan ng bakuna. Tiwala rin daw ang Pangulo sa patuloy na pagdating ng mga bakuna para mabigyan ang lahat ng Pilipino. Susi raw ito para mabuksan muli ang ekonomiya at bansa. Hindi daw dapat mag-aksaya ng panahon o resources ang pamahalaan para sa maayos na rollout ng bakuna. Nagpasalamat rin ang Pangulo sa mga frontline healthcare workers sa pakikipaglaban sa COVID-19. Pinawi naman ng Pangulo ang pangamba ng publiko sa bakuna. Wala raw dapat ikabahala dahil backed by science raw ito. Kaya mas mabuting mabakunahan na sa lalong madaling panahon. Mas marami raw buhay ang may liligtas kung mababakunahan ang lahat. Nagsabi rin ng Pangulo na balak niyang pumunta ng China para personal na pasalamatan si Chinese President Xi Jinping. Patuloy pong tumutok dito sa GTV. Ako po, si Salima Refran, buong puso para sa Pilipino. Maraming salamat.